I have a 15-month-old son who was born with spina bifida in June of 2012. October is Spina Bifida Awareness Month, and so I put a video up a few days ago asking for questions that people may have about spina bifida. I am not a professional. I am not in the medical field at all. I am just a mother. I'm going to do my best to answer all the questions that I can. Spina bifida is actually Latin for split spine. When you are pregnant, one of the first things to develop within your womb is the neural tube. Neural means the brain, and it is the tube. It looks like a little tadpole, and it eventually uncurls and it turns into your brain and your spinal cord, and then everything starts growing off of that midline. So a neural tube defect, which is what spina bifida is classified under, is a defect to the growth or development of that neural tube. Generally, neural tube defects occur before the woman knows that she is pregnant. As early as 1 week into your pregnancy, you can imagine that your spine kind of closes from the top of your neural tube, your spine, and it closes like a little zipper as you develop in your mother's womb. And so it just goes down. So the vertebrae are enclosing your nerves and the things that are inside of your spine, and the zipper doesn't close. That can cause the nerves to be exposed, either wide open or underneath the skin, and therefore you could have nerve damage. There are levels to spina bifida. The first level is called spina bifida occulta. Occulta is Latin for hidden. Many people that have spina bifida occulta do not even know that they have spina bifida. Basically, they can have an opening in their vertebrae that's underneath their skin, and the other meninges or the other lining that holds those nerves together is intact, and it may manifest in something small like backaches or things like that. I actually met a few people who found out in high school that they had spina bifida occulta, and the only symptom that they had was backaches and little what they thought were hereditary birthmarks. A next type of spina bifida is spina bifida meningocele. Meninges are the linings of your neural tube, and so they wrap your brain. It's like the casing that wraps your brain and wraps your spinal column, your nerves in your spinal column. So there's bone, there's meninges, and then there's nerves going down the middle. The meninges type of spina bifida is also, it's very uncommon, and it tends not to have a lot of problems because the meninges, the vertebra is closed, but the meninges are kind of like bulging out through the vertebra. So depending on each person's manifestation of that development, they could have problems, but it is not as severe a type of spina bifida as the third kind of spina bifida, which is myelomeningocele. Myelomeningocele means that the vertebrae and the meninges were potentially open, and the nerves are either exposed and or outside of the body or the spinal column, on either skin covered or not. And so myelomeningocele is one of the most severe types of spina bifida, and it generally has the most severe problems associated with it. There is another type of spina bifida, and I can't pronounce it, so I'll just put it on the screen. It's myelocystis, and I am very unfamiliar with this type, so I will not speak to it. However, I will put an article below for you to look up and read about. My son was born with myelomeningocele, which is the most severe form of spina bifida. It is presenting itself in challenges with mobility and movement from his torso and down.